Hi, Jamonica. So I've got your submission up here, and it's a couple of things I want to take a look at. This will only take a few minutes, but first, and I think the most obvious thing here is that you've submitted all these separate files. So if we go over to milestone 2, task 2 instructions, you can see right here that one of the recommendations is that, okay, save each common object image as a JPEG for inclusion in a single PDF file. With each JPEG on a separate page. Combine the sketch and collection into a single multi-page PDF file. Well, you haven't done that. You've just submitted all these separate files. And that would not be considered a best practice because quite often you'll be submitting files to an art director, a creative director, or even a client, and you don't want to submit. I mean, if you have 15 files, you don't want to give somebody 15 files to open because they're going to lose track, and it's just going to be a really very difficult process to go through the presentation. For this reason, we compile all the files in one single multi-page PDF where we can take a look at all the files in kind of one location, one-stop shopping, as it were. Okay, and how do you do that? Well, if you jump over here to milestone 2, task 2 instructions, see right there, and that's just right off the learning path, which is right here. So you go to learning path, milestone 2, and then right down here in milestone 2, task 2 instructions, right here. Now we pop that guy open and we get this right here, and it says right here, video tutorial on creating a multi-page PDF. So you want to follow that tutorial, and that's going to show you exactly how to create a multi-page PDF out of several different files. And we're going to be doing this for the rest of the class, so I highly recommend that you do that. If you have any issues or problems, let me know, and I can clarify. But this is a really clear video tutorial, and it really shows step-by-step exactly what to do. Okay, so be sure to do that, and make sure that when you submit your final submission for milestone 2 that it is a single file, one single PDF, multi-page PDF, as opposed to all these different multiple files. Okay, so I want to take a look at the work itself, and I got the sketch up. I think the sketch is great. I really do. I think it's fantastic. I think it really shows a wonderful, just a really interesting caricature creature. I could see this being a kid's toy. You've got the trash bag next to it. Really great stuff here. But if we take a look, I've got each of your, I've downloaded each of these and I've opened these up in Photoshop, and I just want to show you what my findings are. Okay. Now don't forget, if I take a look at this one now, I'm just going to go up to the top of the page under Image in Photoshop, Image, and I'm going to go to Image Size. And this is what pops up, and this pops up and it says that this image is 4.44 by 4.139. It's 72 ppi. That's too small. Remember, all of our images have to be at least 300 ppi. What's the difference? You can see when I zoom in here, see these little squares, these little pixels? That's a low resolution image. It's not a high quality image, so it's gonna show as such. It's not gonna be a very clear image in the final destination. So you want all of your images to be 300 ppi. Now you can't just go and change that because that's not quite how Photoshop works. You actually have to find images that are high resolution to start with. And as a summary there, you can come over here back to the milestone 2 and come over to the learning activities and take a look at these. Digital imaging resolution, 2 parts to that: digital imaging resolution DPI, monitor resolution, resolution general technology guidelines, raster and vector images. And then you can come over and make sure that in milestone 1 task instructions, make sure you go ahead and follow these videos. Follow these videos because they're, again, really super important in showing how, you can't really just adjust. Wait a second, that's milestone 2 task 1. I wanted to be in milestone task 2 instructions. Sorry about that. So it really this shows exactly why how you can't just take images and stretch them or shrink them and expect it to work.
And
it's
in
just,
the top left corner,
whoops,
and choose Add Files.
sorry about that. It's just not really exactly how Photoshop works. So make sure you take a look at this and make sure that all of your images are high resolution to start. Okay. So as we see there, that's a low resolution image. Then we have the apple. Now the apple, I believe, is a high resolution image. Let's go to image, image size. And we can see it's 300 ppi, but the thing is it's only 1.8 inches by 1.93 inches high, or 1.39 inches high. And being that this is going to be the body of the creature, it's going to be bigger than an eighth of an inch high. It's going to be probably more like 5 or 6 inches high. For that reason, you can't just place this in the image composite and stretch it to open it, to increase the size, because it will get all muddled and it won't be very clear. So I would recommend that you find a high resolution apple for this particular piece. Coca-Cola, let's see what we have here. Image size. This is 72. This is huge. It's this one you can size down. You can change this to 72. You can change this to 300. Sorry, I want to show you something. If you go over here to image size, this one is big enough. Image size, if this one's big enough, you can see it's 27 inches high, 27 inches wide. So if you just uncheck resample, and then change that to 300, you can see that it's now going to be 300, but it's going to be 6.67 inches by 6.67 inches. So that's plenty big, so that'll work just fine. I'm going to cancel that. Let's go to image, this image here. These are your straws. These are low resolution images. Image size, 72. These may be able to, these are going to be pretty small. 1.65, though that might work. They might be big enough to do that, so you can try that with those. And then over here, the batteries, again, image size, those are low resolution images. I think these will work though. If we uncheck resample and click 300, then 1.6, yeah, those might be too small. Well, actually, those might work because those are the legs, so those might work. Okay, and so on and so forth. So those would be my recommendations, and please make sure you watch that video on compiling all of these into a single page PDF, because you'll continue to lose points, and I don't want to do that. You're trying hard, and I don't want to deduct points, but I have to. So so you really have to follow the specifications. So if you have any questions, let me know. I can clarify, but you really definitely want to get into the learning path and go, and really at every single week you really got to go through all of these. Step by step, read them 2 or 3 times until you really get it, because these describe everything. Okay, I'm pushing 8 minutes, didn't want to do that, but I just wanted to be as thorough as I can. Okay, so hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks, Jamonica.